Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. Today we're going to be putting the big in Big Decomp energy. That is because the Super Mario Galaxy Decompilation project passed a milestone about 8 hours ago, getting to 50% decompiled status. As we recently see with the Twilight Princess Decomp and PC port, getting things natively as PC applications makes things even better. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Dolphin emulation, and that's how I am recording this footage here. It makes these games look spectacular, but we're getting even more out of PC ports. And imagine a future in which you could play Super Mario Galaxy at 8K, 12K, even higher than that, with a ton of quality of life improvements and a bunch of mods like we're seeing on the Twilight Princess Dusklight port. That is absolutely something I want to see because this is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. I just think it would be spectacular as a port, not only for all of the enhancements and quality of life improvements, but imagine the crazy mods people would put into this game because there's already a ton of fun mods out there. And the number one thing I would want, and I know you can do it on the Switch port, is to basically have someone go in and remove the motion controls completely from Super Mario Galaxy, because it was charming on the Wii, but now today I just want to have a controller configuration in something like a PC port. We're not really thinking about motion controls unless I actually want to use them. And again, all of these decompilation projects aren't just to get PC ports, they're also for video game preservation so people can do fun things with this in the future. Now, as far as how long it's going to take to get to the back half of 50%, we're just going to have to wait and see, but getting this game even past the halfway point is absolutely spectacular and something I fundamentally love and want to talk about. And because this game is so incredibly beautiful, especially when you put it in Dolphin and upscale it, move it over to widescreen and do a ton of enhancements, a PC port could be even prettier, and then we could have it on stuff like iOS, Android, and it could even be brought to the Switch as a better Super Mario Galaxy than Nintendo actually gave fans when they re-released it. And that would just be 10 out of 10 fun, and I would love to see somebody actually try to do that. Now, taking a look at the decomp.dev page here, you're going to see it's 50.24% decompiled, so it has gotten over that hump, and that again is just absolutely insane because we have decomps for Super Mario Galaxy going, we have decomps for Super Mario Odyssey going, and a bunch of other decompilation projects out there. Now, like I like to say, just because a game gets 100% decompiled does not mean you are guaranteed a PC port. It took over 3 years for Paper Mario and N64 to finally start seeing some progress on a port. Meanwhile, something like Twilight Princess, where we thought it would take a few years to actually get a PC port, within like 3 months of that game being 100% decompiled, we had our first test version of Courage Reborn, and then a little bit after that we had Dusklight release as well. And I feel like considering Super Mario Galaxy is such a big and iconic game, it is the type of title that people would try to port over to PC basically as soon as it was possible. And that again is just so much fun because we're in a retro gaming renaissance right now, and yes, the Wii is 100% retro. You guys can argue it in the comments, but you know I'm right, and this stuff is just going to keep happening and happening, and I love talking about all of it. Because the Twilight Princess PC port has proven that you can take an incredible game and basically make it feel like it was something that was made last week. And because Super Mario Galaxy definitely has a decent amount of geometry, it doesn't really feel that old either compared to some parts of Twilight Princess. Now, going over the actual decomp map here, anything in green is 100% decompiled, anything in blue is somewhere between 1 and 99% decompiled, and a black square has not been touched yet. And this is just for part of Ocean Ring here. Some things make sense. We're talking about geometry and the math involved. Other things, you really have to go to the GitHub to better understand. But this is just one core component of something that would occur in a water area. And it really is fun to go through all of the decomp code, at least for me personally, to see how the game was put together. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, if there was a Super Mario Galaxy PC port, what's the one feature more so than anything else you would like to see in? For me, personally, it is 100% removal of the motion controls. You can basically bind it to do that in Dolphin, but it takes a little bit, and it doesn't feel as natural as playing the Switch version in handheld mode. We don't really have to worry about the motion controls whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, they are fun, but just one of those things. It feels more comfortable to play a Mario game where I don't have to wiggle a controller around to try to get inputs in. Let's do a soundtrack sample just because the music in this game is iconic and would sound great coming out of a PC port. And I'll be right back with more tech information on this decomp project.
Ooh.
Let us begin.
I mean, just such a fun soundtrack, and honestly, even though I really enjoyed something like Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario Odyssey, the Galaxy franchise kind of feels like where Mario had its most whimsy and kind of just its most Mario-ness, for lack of a better term. And don't get me wrong, Odyssey is an incredible game, and I'm excited about that decomp as well, and I'll probably talk about that again in the future, maybe for a month or two. But this game just absolutely sings and excels at what it's trying to do. It is so charming, it's so unique, and it really showed that Nintendo was continually being creative with what they thought the actual Mario formula was. But this is where I say removal of the actual motion controls, because I forgot, at least in this version of Dolphin, and I have like 12 different ones going for different forks, I hadn't actually yet found any of the motion controls for the shake and waggle to be able to actually get to that area. And that's something, again, I just missed it on the setup, but it is indicative of me really wanting to see one day a PC port go to full standard controls. Now, it has been stated by the team that is decompiling this that they have no plans to make a PC port, but don't worry about that, because that really isn't all that unusual, because all of the decompilation code is open source. Many times, more often than not, the people that actually port these things over to PC or other platforms are not the same team that actually decompile it. And it's one of those things, sometimes people decomp the game, speedrunners or otherwise, because they get a chance to look under the hood and see how the game is put together, and that actually aids in learning some new strats and exploits. So if we take a look at the GitHub page here, the project name is Patari. You'll see here it is a work in progress decomp, and they're saying that it is not meant to be an effort to bring it over to PC. So I just want to indicate that, because I knew some people would think about that and worry. Just because they're decompiling it, you won't actually see a port. Trust me, again, all the code is open source, so someone's definitely going to pick this up when it is ready. And as far as how long that's going to be, I feel like maybe, and I'm always kind of shooting the moon on this one, 12 months or so, and I think you'll see this thing 100% decompiled. And again, that's what we saw with the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, and now you are playing that on PC. And I've either already talked about it or will be talking about it soon. There is a tool set called Aurora, which is basically a source level GameCube and Wii compatibility layer intended for use with game decomp projects. It is a tool to make it easier to port GameCube and Wii games over to PC, so now that that tool exists and it's what's powering Twilight Princess Dusklight, you know it's going to be easier to actually get a port. Because a lot of times it isn't just the decomp code you need, and it isn't just the time to actually port the code over to x86 or a new architecture. It's tools that basically aid the work and make it faster and a smoother workflow. And that's definitely going to benefit a lot of GameCube and Wii decomps in the future, because there's a metric crap ton in development. And I know you guys love big decomp energy, and I keep saying this is why retro gaming is making a comeback. Because I've tried to introduce my nephews, Charlie especially, that loves Super Mario, to Galaxy, and just felt it was a little bit too old. Now granted, I showed it to him on a GameCube and not actually on Dolphin, but if that was a PC port I could just email him a link to, he would play this game from start to finish, no questions asked. Let's do one more soundtrack sample, just because I absolutely love the music. It's so charming, and I want a PC port out of it. I'll come back, tell you a little bit more what I hope to see from this in the future. So I know there's a ton of decompilation projects in the works, and this is one that honestly I am the most excited about. I'd say number one would be Silent Hill hitting 100% decomp status, because while there is a PC port in development, there's plans for another PC port as well once the thing hits 100% decompiled status. But a world in which something like Super Mario Galaxy existed on PC, you could run it up to 12K or even beyond, you'd have a bunch of quality of life improvements, mods, maybe even some controller hacks, all the stuff that we see coming out of Dusklight plus more. That is definitely a world I want to live in, because Super Mario Galaxy, the first time I played it, I absolutely fell in love with it, and I played it with my then girlfriend, now wife, and we had an absolute blast. And I want to be able to do that all over again, just with a PC hooked up to my 4K OLED, seeing all the amazing colors in a PC native application. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me if you could snap your fingers and make one game from Wii appear as a perfect PC port, which one would it be? For me, it's No More Heroes. But short of that, we're done. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.